Have you ever wanted to make one of those whiteboard explainer videos that seem so popular nowadays? You know the ones, those with narrated handwriting, and animated drawing effects. If you are like me, this sounds like a good idea, and it seems like Hype would be a suitable authoring tool. But, it also seems like making an entire video could be a lot of work if you have to create all the animated letters and graphics individually. So, you might be wondering, how can I make a library of stock graphics in Hype that I can use to solve recurring problems? Fortunately, Hype includes several features that simplify the reuse of pre-existing components. I've made this video to show you what these features are, and explain how you might use them to automate or streamline the process of making graphics for whiteboard explainer videos. The key to making reusable Hype elements that you can export from one file, and import into subsequent projects is understanding the Hype symbol feature. When based on vector graphics, these symbols are resolution independent and can be scaled to whatever final size is necessary. And when correctly configured, these symbols can also include the line drawing animations produced by Hype. This combination of features enables you to build reusable Hype components that can be combined into libraries of animated fonts and video graphics. These library elements can be ported into any number of subsequent videos while still maintaining their potential for customization. In addition to speeding up video production, this approach also means that there can be a consistent appearance to your videos even while you're trying to create the impression of them being hand-drawn. By way of example, let's start by making a symbol for the whiteboard wipe effect from the first scene. I use this wipe effect to help to smooth the transition from one scene to the next. In case you missed it, it looks like this. This wipe effect is just a single animated drawing path, with a really wide border, that is the same color as the whiteboard background. You need to stack this drawing path above anything else drawn on the whiteboard but beneath its frame. The sound effect is added later because videos exported from Hype don't include any sound. Remember, to see this drawing path, you need to select it first and then click again to see the path. Now I want to turn this erase path element into a symbol that I can export and reuse again later. Under normal conditions, I would select all the component parts and then go to the symbol menu, and select New Symbol from selection. However, this method doesn't capture the animated drawing path, so I'm going to copy it first, so I can paste it back into the symbol later. So those steps again were, copy the drawing path timeline to the clipboard. Select the erase path element and make it into a symbol by going to New Symbol from selection. Then, open the new symbol and paste the drawing path back in. Now, rename the symbol to something appropriate, like whiteboard symbol for example. And finally, go to the symbol menu in the main app menu, and then choose Export Symbol. You can store this symbol anywhere, but I like to put it in a folder with other reusable resources. Now we have a reusable symbol, let's add it to a new project and prove it works. So here is the original whiteboard with some content we want to erase. To import the whiteboard symbol, we could go back to the symbol menu in the main app menu, and then choose Import Symbol. Or we could just import it directly into the Resources pane, here. Then, it is just a matter of dragging it to the canvas in a place we want to add it, remembering of course, to ensure it is stacked below the whiteboard frame but above any content we want to erase. To set the correct timing of the wipe effect, we need to move the timeline of the animated drawing to the point we want. Let's set it to activate after 2 seconds and try it out in the browser. Okay, that works. Because this component is a symbol, we can also use it to erase smaller parts of the whiteboard by reducing its size. So let's do that and then reposition it over just one part of the whiteboard. In fact, let's use it to erase that geeky guy at a computer in the top right-hand corner of the whiteboard. Now, let's rerun the animation in the browser. Good, that works too. A common criticism of the Hype app is the small selection of shapes available natively within the program. However, it is possible, and relatively easy to make an external library of vector-shaped symbols. These shapes can be drawn once, and then reused many times. They can be pixel-perfect, like these ones. Or more organic-looking, like these. This hand-drawn appearance is probably more applicable to whiteboard videos, But you can switch between these two styles by manipulating the corner points and path endings. The controls to do that are in the Path Options section of the element dialog here. Conveniently, you can also generate both animated and plain shapes from the same library. Let me show you how, using this rectangle shape symbol from earlier as an example. When you run this animation from within Hype, you can see it as a simple animated shape. To change it from an animated shape to a plain shape, you simply copy the path of the animated shape from within the symbol, and then paste it back into the scene. Remember, to access the path, you need to click into the symbol. Then, drag the playhead to a point that shows the entire shape. Next, click once more to select the full shape. And copy it to the clipboard. Then, exit the symbol. Back on the main canvas, paste the shape from the clipboard next to the animated shape. Now, if I rerun this animation, you can see how we have a copy of the plain vector shape but without any of its original path animation. When reusing these symbols, or shapes derived from them, the best way to scale them in a way that maintains their relative proportions is to use the scale controls in the metrics panel rather than simply dragging out the shape using its corner points. In this way, you can maintain the relative shape proportions and stroke thickness, no matter what their final size might be. Let me show you the difference using that static shape we just extracted from the animated symbol. If I drag on the corner handles of this shape, its overall size changes, but its stroke thickness remains the same. Not necessarily what you want. In contrast, if I scale this object using the scale controls with constrain ratio selected, you can see how all aspects of the shape change proportionately. Of course, because symbols can be edited and resaved, you can always go in and customize any aspect of their appearance or behavior you choose. And, because these are vector shapes, they will always maintain their resolution independence, no matter how big or small you make them. The number of animated shapes and reusable graphics you might make for Whiteboard explainer videos are only limited by your imagination. Arrows and underlinings are two examples of graphics that are likely to appear in almost all explainer videos. It is a good idea to collect commonly used graphics like this together in a library. Here are some examples of the shape symbols I have in my personal library. To get started with this library, I roughly traced a few shapes from existing clip art, and then fine-tuned them point by point, using Hype's vector drawing tools. After that, every time I drew a new shape, I made sure to copy it to my library in case I needed to use it again. Letters and numbers are just shapes, and it is possible to make animated fonts in the same way that we made regular animated shapes earlier. One way to maintain a consistent appearance and proportionality of these animated characters is to use an existing handwritten font as a template. And then, trace out the shape of each individual character with Hype's pencil tool. By harnessing an existing font, you already have the right shape and connectedness for each character. Here is an example of a font library I made from the marker felt system font. This might sound like a lot of work, given that you have upper and lower case character sets together with numbers and symbols. However, this is another situation where it is draw once, reuse many times. Let me show you the procedure I have used to create several animated font libraries for my own use. I start with a character template made from an existing font. Then, I make a rough tracing in Hype of each character, using a thin stroke width. I try to do this without lifting the pencil tool, which results in a single path for each character. I then go in, and edit the path, remove all unnecessary points, and reposition the rest. It is really helpful if you are tracing from enlarged font characters and using a very thin stroke to edit. When the final path points are correctly positioned, you can set the stroke thickness back to a value consistent across all characters in the font library. Once you have symbols for each character, it is simply a matter of placing them on a timeline in the correct order. If you want to join characters together into words, or not lift your writing tool between words, you can use invisible paths to trace the connections between the end of one character and the beginning of the next. That way, the movement of your pen or marker will approximate the appearance of regular handwriting. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this short video demonstrating how to make shape and font libraries for Hype. This video barely scratched the surface of what is possible. In particular, there are more advanced ways to animate handwriting in Hype. Are you interested to see other videos describing how Hype can be used as a tool for making Whiteboard explainer videos? Well, I've prepared a package containing a full set of demo videos, Hype project files, and resource libraries together with some documentation describing ways to optimize your motion graphic production workflow. If you are interested to learn more about this package, contact me at alteredmindware@gmail.com for more information.